Trojan Family, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, Lincoln Riley is in a situation that he was in 2022. What am I talking about? You guys know, those who watch my live show on Friday, I talked about a couple of things and made reference to this quarterback battle, what I felt like this quarterback battle is absolutely like. You guys know that Miller Moss, we just jumping right into it. I told you plenty of times that all throughout the year that this is going to be a quarterback battle, and I think it's going to be a fierce battle. However, I did say that Miller Moss is QB1, and I didn't put Jaden Maiava at QB2. I put him at QB1B. Here's the reason why, and I want you guys to really understand what this battle is really all about and what this battle is going to come to. Now, I have some intel of practices, and I know a couple of things, and I'm going to kind of follow the same type of protocol, if you will, as even the guys, even I'm not a credential guy, but even as the guys that are credential, I'm not going to just try to deliver a lot of information. But what I do know is that it is a serious battle. I know that the defense is giving the offense all they can handle. The defense is much better than what they were last year. When you're talking about the secondary, look, the secondary is flying around. The secondary is having some interceptions, almost some of them, and the ball's been dropped a couple times. But look, I'm not going to get into that too much, but here's what I want to say and suggest as it relates to the quarterback battle. And I asked a question on Friday in my live. Is this QB battle a Miller Moss in a Caleb Williams type situation? Now, what was that situation like? That situation was a clear cut. Caleb Williams was the starter, right? It wasn't even a question. It wasn't even maybe Miller Moss might get in. Maybe Miller Moss might get some reps. Maybe Miller Moss might come in. Miller Moss might come in for a couple of series. No, this is not that type of situation. This is not the situation where Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. That's the other one situation I want to bring up. Is this situation more like a Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams situation, meaning that you had two guys that were very competitive, that were very, very athletic quarterbacks, that were very mobile quarterbacks, but there was no clear-cut favorite. There was no clear-cut winner, opposed to the way it was with Miller Moss. There was a clear-cut winner with Caleb Williams and Miller Moss. Caleb Williams was hands down the best quarterback in that situation. So here's the situation that I'm posing and bring it to you guys. I think, and from my view, the way I see it, from what the things I've heard, I feel like this is a Spencer Rattler, this is a Caleb Williams situation. This is the kind of quarterback battle we have right now. Why is that? Because there is no clear-cut favorite right now. And here, I told you guys Friday, and I'm going to go over some numbers real quick. Here's what gives Miller Moss the edge. One is that he's been in the system already. He has the locker room already. He has the chemistry already as far as the work that he's put in with some of these guys. However, Jaden Maiava had the opportunity to have a spring, which gives him the opportunity to get a feel for the offense. Now, all of a sudden, when he comes in for the fall, it's no longer I'm getting a feel for the offense. Now I kind of know the offense. I kind of know, some targets that I might like. And now it's a situation where it appears that Jaden Maiava may be caught up a little bit. Whereas Miller was right here, Jaden Maiava might have came up to right here. They're not all the way even, Steven, but it might be right here. And the only thing that can separate these guys is the lack of mistakes. If these guys make mistakes, any type of mistakes, that's going to separate them. There is no room for mistakes. Now, here's the other part that a lot of people are not talking about is the fact that our defense is better. It's not making this situation better. It's not making this situation any easier for Miller Moss or Jaden Maiava. Now, I want you guys to remember, as I stated before, Caleb Williams had problems with this defense. Now, not this particular defense, but he had problems with the UCLA defense. He did not look right at the beginning of that game against UCLA against that defense. You guys already know that. And we saw the same thing in the spring. We saw J.D. Maiava throw a pick. We saw Miller Moss throw a pick. And I think it's going to come down for whoever has the least amount of mistakes. And when I heard Lincoln Riley the other day, suggest and say that this is basically an open competition, I believe him. First of all, let me give you number one. I don't believe that Lincoln Riley is going to bring a quarterback in from the transfer portal just to bring a quarterback in from the transfer portal. I believe that he actually liked the skill set of J.D. Maiava. Here's another thing that I brought up the other day in my live on Friday. If you guys remember, those who were there, and for those who missed it, you're about to hear it. Lincoln Riley has always liked quarterbacks that have a skill set of running, mobility. And I'm not saying Miller Moss is not that guy. Miller Moss can absolutely take off when it's time to take off. But if you would have just asked me, and being honest, if I were to say who has the best skill set, and possibly appeal to a guy like Lincoln Riley, would it be J.D. Maiava or would it be Miller Moss? If we keep it 100, I would say off the top, it would have to be a guy like J.D. Maiava. However, Miller Moss is he's not just a lame duck just sitting in the pocket and a guy that can't move. Miller Moss can absolutely, he can move and groove. He can go at will. But do you guys remember in the Louisville game when they had to do a run play? They had to bring in what's his name, Jensen. They didn't keep Miller Moss in there. I think that if that was J.D. Maiava, in my opinion, I don't think he would have got pulled out the game. I think he would have ran that play and moved and grooved. Now, this situation, I'm starting to hear other people talk about it now. And now here's the crazy thing. On Saturday, I put this up. This was a tweet that I actually put up from Saturday, and it was I put it on my Twitter. That's why I tell you guys to follow me on Twitter, because I put up a lot of information as it relates to what's going on with this football program. Now, this is from a guy by the name of Ryan Critique. He's from the LA Times, and I put this tweet up, and he says this. He says, reporters were able to watch all of the USC practice today, and he says, one of my takeaways was just how natural J.D. Maiava looks throwing the ball. Effortless, yet powerful. And listen, those who can remember when we did the highlights, that USC absolutely moved and grooved, and they absolutely had it straight up go time, with J.D. Maiava when he was throwing the ball all around. And so I think we're in a situation where, listen, it's real. It's a real battle. I had some to come on, Friday when they were in my live. Jay, come on, man. Miller deserves it. Miller, listen, I'm not saying Miller doesn't deserve it. I think Miller, he stayed around the program. I think that, he's been here, waited his turn. But at the end of the day, this is how life is. If we just keep it 100, life isn't fair when you're talking about just anything. And the best available candidate is going to play. It's not about whose turn is next or who deserves it, but it's about the best available candidate, whether you're in the marketplace, whether you're in the stock market, whether you're in corporate America. The best available guy, the guy that's actually been there for years and waited his turn for the next supervisor to leave, that oversees a bunch of group of people, if they got another guy that has more qualified credentials, he's going to get that spot. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I guess one guy was loyal to the soil and he stayed and did his thing. It's all about the best available candidate. And I continue to say Miller Moss is going to be QB1. J.D. Maiava is going to be QB1B. But I think it's right here. Whereas it was right here, I think now it's starting to come right here. I don't think those two are separated too far apart. And like I said, Friday, I mentioned that in my live. And hey, some laugh, but I just try to give it to you the way I see it. And you guys know I'm a Miller Moss guy. I love Miller. I love his story. I love the fact that Miller stayed. I love the fact that Miller was able to endure. And he just happens to have a guy right now that is going to challenge him, that's going to push him to the brink. Now, do I think that could push Miller to the next level? Absolutely. Miller can be pushed to the next level by a guy like Jaden Maiava. Now, if anything, the way that I think it could start, I think it could start out like this, that Miller Moss could start out with the season, but one little mistake, I believe that Jaden Maiava is right there. I mean, have you ever been in a situation to where you know that the next man was just waiting to get your job? That's what's happening right now. And so it's no knock on Miller. It's no knock on Jaden Maiava. It's just who the best man made a best man win. Now, on the season, this is another important thing to remember. Jaden Maiava threw for 3,000 yards, 3,085 yards, 17 touchdowns, 10 INTs. And so you got to remember, you guys remember a quarterback by the name of Will Howard that USC was going after? He only had 2,600 yards on the season. And by the way, I hear that he's in a battle right now. Even though he was in the transfer portal, I'm hearing that he's in a serious battle. So the job is not just given to him yet. And that's what I'm hearing. Also, Miller Moss on the year, 681 yards, 7 TDs, 1 INT. So that QBR was sick though, 97.3. So we're talking about in Miller Moss, most of his yards came through the Holiday Bowl. So, here's what I like about Miller Moss. I like the fact that he doesn't wait long. I like the fact that he's willing to stay in the pocket and he's willing to do his checkdowns. He's willing to do his reads. And I like the fact that he will get the ball out, identify where the player is, and he will get the ball out with a quickness. However, he did throw a couple of 50-50 balls in the Holiday Bowl. If we just be honest, I think it was a couple 50-50 balls. And so I think this is going to be a battle. It's exciting. We got two quarterbacks that can really go out there and get it. We got two quarterbacks that can get out there and move and groove. Look, I mean, it is what it is. Don't get mad at the messenger. I'm just giving you and delivering you the real deal. This is what's happening right now with the USC football Trojans. What I like about Jaden Maiava, I like that he can run and take off. He can run the RPO stuff. I love that about Jaden Maiava. But look, man, I don't want to, just like I said, with any other position throughout this year, and I'm going to maintain that same thing. I think it may the best man win. I don't want to pick, may the best man win. The good thing is we are going to know in a couple of weeks. It's going to be straight up go time. It's going to be on the popping, on the cracking. And so we'll see what happens, man. Best of luck to both of these guys, man, because I think they're both phenomenal athletes. And I don't even want to put the whole tag on there where Miller has earned his time and he's earned his look. May the best man win. That's how I'm looking at it right now. And there's no disrespect to anybody, man. I believe that Lincoln Riley, what he said up there in the press conference the other day, I believe exactly what he says. I don't believe it's coach speak. Some said to me when I said it the other day, they said, "Oh, Jay, this is coach speak." I don't believe that. I hear what's going on in practice. And so, look, you guys can drop those comments. You guys can tell me what you think. It's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. Listen, I'm out of here. Everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.